are part of our brains are just damaged by the hard wall of materialism and our own survival. But my survival is completely dependent on all of you and on the and on the flow. And my grandchildren and your grandchildren and generations are dependent on us to bring back flow and interconnectivity and relationships. And just as, I mean, on a larger scale, the United States can't survive as being a closed country on the largest scale, can't survive. So there's that, but we all can't survive without our, without each other. Like I broke another femur last May during COVID. I was in the hospital 5 days. There are no services available like there normally are. I was completely dependent on the goodwill of a few people, completely, because other people were frozen. They wouldn't put on their mask and come and help out. People I knew really well, right? So who put on their mask? My neighbor, she's Mexican, that coffee shop, biracial. They delivered food to me. A best friend of mine who's African heritage came and helped me out. And it was really hard because no one else would. And my children were far away because my granddaughter from China had been deposited on us because of COVID there. And then she couldn't go home. And my son-in-law was being treated for cancer. I couldn't survive without people who understood what it meant to be close. And there were very few, very, very, very few, because that's where what we live in, you know. And I fortunately live in a good sort of solid working class or middle class, was working class community, and they understand that. I can assure you, I know, because I had an upper class mother and she did not understand that. So, you know, it's very, you know, we all drink from the same stream. Mm-hmm. We all drink from the same stream. And
Betsy, this is Andre. I just want to thank you, not only for your talk today, but for all I've ever known you to be. Is the powerful, dynamic, questioning humanitarian that you are, that you serve all of us. And I love you.
I love you too. We've had good times, very good times. Oh gosh, you know, I'm very grateful for my life. It's rich and full. I'm very, very grateful for it. And I can't say I planned it, but the door is open. And I always sought whatever. I was reading a thing from this is Da Vinci, my favorite person, that we can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. But that's not to reinforce our individuality. That's just what we can, you know, really give to each other. But what really in China I learned about, you know, if you've been in a country for 5,000 years and there's only 5 last names and everyone knows their village, there's something else going on kinetically, invisibly, that we do not have here. The indigenous people have it here. Indigenous people have it here. My indigenous friends have it. And that makes them not afraid in a certain way that those of us who came here, whenever we came in the last 300 years, have a kind of fear. And we got to give it up. Give up the fear. We've survived. We've thrived. And now we get to be joined back together. And because we thrived on the backs of many people incorrectly, took land in a colonial form, used people. So there's just so much fear, because if you've thrived as the owner of other people, or because you got something that wasn't yours, you feel too bad and too scared, no matter what it was, no matter when it was. I mean, I am and I am not responsible for my great grandfather, who had the largest slave plantation for sugar in Cuba. But I see the damage on my family for 5 generations. And I'm sure the damage is there on all the people that were on that plantation. So I know how horrible people feel from that. And I was just thinking today and reminiscing with my friends, what if everyone who knew they were come from an enslaver would step out there with the Me Too movement? How cool would that be? How cool would that be if we all just joined together and made sure that things are right. I have a lot of indigenous friends. I can, the uranium mines there's over 15,000 of them still open that are spilling radioactive toxins into those lands. Now, when they get to the river of the waters that are feeding a white community, maybe the government will decide to clean it up, but it has not been cleaned up. And it's one thing I'm trying to find the right leader, indigenous leader, because I have found the scientist who will volunteer, who knows how to get the radioactive toxins out of the earth and the water. So that's another one on my plate that I'm really excited about, but I can't lead that. And someone will lead it. And that will happen. But there's so much different things we can be engaged in and still have a very, very long, good life. And I love you all so much. I really love you. Harriet, I hope we get to meet. I don't know if there's anything else, but
I think that's it, Bonnie. I think you have left us with a lot of inspiration and a lot to think about as we go forward. I just want to thank everyone for staying on this long and staying here with us and having Betsy do this half an hour kind of Q&A afterwards, after talking for an hour about her many projects that she's done and many more that I'm sure will happen in the next few decades.
Yeah, right. I'll be on.
If you enjoyed the programming today, feel free to make a donation to Weed Artists. You can visit us at weedartists.org. And if you want to make any donations to Betsy Damon, she said you can visit her at keepersofthewater.org to help fund her projects. We did have a recording of this program today, and it will be up on our YouTube channel later this week. If you want to share it with anyone else. We also have a bunch of other episodes, 4 other episodes that are available to stream right now if you just feel like keep rolling with art and activism. We also have 2, and I've put them in the chat, 2 opportunities for Weed members and just artists. A call for proposals for a new exhibition called Extraction, Art on the Edge of the Abyss. Feel free to look more information of that on weedartist.org. And we also have another call for proposals for our online magazine for Weed. Thanks again for everyone for joining us today, and hope to see you for our next art and activism.
I'm sort of seeing a bus, right? Like artist activists going to different spots.
Yeah.
Maybe we can fund that for younger people, whatever, and going to different spots and just pitching in and whatever.
I mean, I'm there. I'm ready.
Okay, so that would be great. Maybe we could, raise some money, and you can have a bus and go to places.
Yeah.
I already have a truck and a trailer, so I mean, buses.
Okay.
Okay, whatever.
But
you know. Seriously, you know, there's so much. And it's gonna come from the grassroots.
Yeah.
It's, you know, in spite of how much money Biden puts out there, it's gonna come from the grassroots. And
Yep. You know, at the end of Pioneers, they always say, we have to stop thinking I and start thinking we. So Kate, I just wanted to thank you too for doing such a good job on these talks. I'm very grateful.
I want to thank the team, and I want to thank Christina, who got hold of me and got me
Yep.
to write something badly, and she edited it and took care of it and everything. So I'm really grateful.
Of course, always bringing us great people to hear from.
I need to share you with everybody, Betsy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Well, I got to get out to Cocoa, so I'll get out. I'm actually coming. I'm hoping to come to the West Coast the end of May, so maybe we can gather. Yeah, my sister's out there, and she's been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, but I've sent her to a really good person. But I want to go out and spend some, you know, enough time. If I'm going to go, I would love to gather with people. And
Come to my retirement party.
okay, I'll come to any party you do. You and Susan.
Betsy, do you know Winona LaDuke, the indigenous economist?
Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe we can include her in the conversation about the economics of making these things happen.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I'm also going to ask her if she knows somebody who could lead this cleanup on the Cheyenne River. I mean, I have to follow through on a few things. I kind of lost it, but she might know the right person. I also know an indigenous person from there who's at MIT. So, and she's art and science, so she might want to do it. And yes, Robin Kimmer is fabulous. I love her book. And thank you, Amar. She's fabulous. And
Yeah.
None of us want to leave, Betsy. Shall we just keep going?
it's up to you.
So
I'm not starving yet. I'm not passing out. So it's up to you. What do you think? What does everyone think? You ready to?
I have to leave, so I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay.
I love you all.
Hi, Andre.